Yo, what's up, Joe? I'm just bored. Just chilling today. Good square. Oh man. That's this is like a quadruple bottom, whatever. Dun-dun-dun. The 200 line is very important. Let's see. Square. There's that formant, obviously. There's that formant. But yeah, Square's interesting. Earnings today did pretty well. Whoops. He's down in the dumps. Whoo! Shoot, Fastly's down. All right, let's see. They beat revenue by 1.7 billion. Holy smoke. Revenue transaction to 27%. Let's see. Seller subscriptions, 557. $1 billion Bitcoin-related revenue. Wild. Where is wild? Long-term hold, 270. They have five. Well, their P/E ratio is 509 right now, right? Price to earnings. That could probably go down a lot. Yeah. I mean, they had 9 billion in revenue all 2020. They had 5 billion revenue Q1 alone. I think it's gonna keep going up. So I'm thinking maybe by the end of the year, their total revenue is going to be about 25 billion. And with only a 100 billion market cap, a 1-to-4 revenue to market cap ratio, there's definitely room for this thing to double or triple. Let's see how much money Facebook makes per year. Facebook is worth almost $1 trillion, 900 billion. They made 85. So it's about 10 times. The market cap is 10 times the revenue. So, say Square trades at 100 billion market cap. Their revenue is about 25 billion. They should be at least $250 billion company if you go by this logic and tech. And I think Facebook's undervalued at the moment. Look at this. They beat every single time. How is this not a $1 trillion company by now? Let's look at Apple. right. Apple's up. What? What in this pot? Right here? Dang. Triple moving. All right. So Apple had 275 billion in revenue, about 275, and they're worth 2 trillion. Less than 10 times, about 8 times. The earnings is 54. So yeah, I mean, definitely I think definitely that. Oh, futures are up. Nice. Definitely think I think Squares is going to be worth 250 to 300 billion dollars at least if you look at other tech companies. So definitely pretty good. All right, just seeing if anyone has any questions. If anyone wants to tune in and ask a few questions, feel free to do so. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, Peloton. Let's see what they did. Ooh, they're up $4.72. All right. Reduce revenue. Gain 126 billion in revenue for a $29 billion. Well, that's not crazy. I mean, they're 25 billion. They've made 1.8 billion in the last year, and this year alone they already made 1.2. That means they should be at least worth double, around the 150 range, which is kind of in line and accurate with what they were before big dip. You can see Peloton. Let's take a look at Pecan. Damn, this is massively nasty. All right, it was trading at 170 just a little bit ago, and whew, holy smoke. So so if anybody wants to ask questions, you guys can always ask some questions. I know you're in here, Joe. What's going on? Who else is here? I don't know. Yeah, Piton. I thought 100. I thought the 95 range was going to be a bottom, but this recall really hurt it. It's back up after hours. You can see $88.50. Definitely one to keep an eye on. I like Piton right now for further revenue growth and kind of where they're at. Gotta drink a lot of water. That powerlifting type stuff. All right, yeah. So Piton's another interesting one. What else we got today? Let's see. Let's go to Earnings Whisperer. Let's see what else they got. I forget. I think it was Roku. Oh, Roku was the big one. Oh, it's right here. Oh, look at this. 10% up after hours. Wild. That's straight up wild. Almost 10%. Roku. Let's see what they said. Net income of they made their total profit, not what is it? Not revenue. Their total profit was 76 million. Last year they after their profit was a negative 54, and some might say, hey, how do you get negative? Basically, how do you get a negative profit is your revenue minus your expenses is greater. Your revenue minus expenses is negative. Basically, your expenses exceed your revenue. A lot of companies actually operate at a loss. So it's not uncommon, but basically, yeah, that's one of the things you might find. So Roku was operating at a small loss last year, and then this year the first quarter they're positive. The revenue rose about 250 million year over year, which is significantly well. Roku expects 600 something in the low 600s for Q2, and it does have a lot of positivity and upbeat sentiment for the rest of 2021 going into 2022. So let's see what Roku's worth right now. Roku's worth 37 billion. God damn. So Roku's worth a nice 37.6 on about $2 billion of revenue. So that's about, when it opens tomorrow, it'll be about 20-1 ratio of market cap to estimated annual revenue, which is not crazy, but that's a lot bigger than, say, what that ratio is a lot bigger than, we'll say, something like Square to its estimated annual revenue. So with Square, 100 billion, they made about 5 billion. If you just give or take an estimate to somewhere being in the low 20s, I think it's going to increase every quarter. It's going to be in the low 20s. That's about 5-1. So Roku's trading at 20-1. I like to look at that number a little bit. I also do like to focus on revenue. I think revenue growth is one of my keys when I'm looking for a good stock or company to invest in. So definitely something I like to keep an eye on. Let's see. Yeah, so that's another one I like to look at is the revenue. So what else we got today? We got we got net. What's going off? I'm missing something that I looked at. How did GoPro do? GoPro. It's up slightly. They made almost $1 billion last year trading. What? They're trading almost revenue is just 2 times its market cap, but it's not really growing. That's the problem. GoPro's on the. You can see its numbers. It's on the downtrend a little bit. It's a significant downtrend from 2019 to 2020. Obviously, that's completely COVID related. Obviously, when you're not going outside, you're not going to be needing these action cameras, and for a while now, GoPro has been kind of slowly dying out. I don't think GoPro is going to have sort of that high demand in the near future, but I do think they still have a solid product. I have a GoPro. I think they're solid. I mean, I brought it to Hawaii, brought it all to these other places. So, GoPros are pretty nice, but I think with the advent of smartphone cameras, definitely going to see a slowdown in demand for GoPro, and you can kind of see that. A couple of years. If you don't look at this, they were making a nice comeback in 2019, but let's kind of expand all. Where do I go? All right, here. So 1.7, 1.17, 1.14. So it was a jump. Let's see. GoPro annual revenue. Let's see. No, that's the wrong one. Macro trends. Sorry, here's a pretty good one. So you can see GoPro since has been kind of Well, these are quarterly? These are not. Oh, these are quarterly. These are trailing 12 months. Okay. So you can see quarterly, their revenue has topped out here. It's kind of been on the low end, treading water, a little bit bump, kind of treading water. And every time you see this big bump, could you guess why we see a bump? It's very ironic. Every time you see the highest points when it has this trending up, it's always going to be what is it? It's always going to be holiday season. So every holiday season, the demand for GoPro goes up. How ironic. It fits perfectly in the chart. No, it's not its earnings, but but thank you for tuning in. It's the revenue year over year, or it's their quarterly revenue, right? So this is for GoPro, and say this is Q4 of 2020. They made $358 million, or 0.35 billion. So it's not earnings, it's going to be revenue. So earnings is technically counted as, or looked at profit. Nokia. All right, we can look at Nokia. Let's do a quick look at Nokia. So Nokia's 487. Let's see, where can we find them? All right. So Nokia sales rose 3%, and then 9% when you exclude the currency fluctuations. So let's look at Nokia year over year as well. revenue history. Let's see if Macro Trends has it. Let's see. Oh, here it is. All right. So Nokia, you can see here was when they were making bank. Like right here, they were making bank in the early 2000s. Nokia was a monster, but lately they've kind of simmered down a little bit. A lot of this was before they really was when they were doing a lot of cell phones. Before that, I think they sold their cell phone division to Microsoft, and so the revenue for the full year financial forecast revenue for Nokia is going to be 20 billion, which is pretty solid. It's going to be, you can see that it's last year it had some around close to that number again. So they're staying pretty flat and consistent the last half decade. So Nokia is not going to be doing anything crazy. They did sell their cell phone division to Microsoft, I believe, somewhere here, and that's where you see this huge dip in revenue. With smartphones coming out, Nokia kind of gave up. They're doing a lot more equipment and telecommunications equipment, so it's kind of where they're at. You might say, hey, why is their stock only $4.87? Right? But remember to look at market cap. So they have $7 billion in market cap. There's a large amount of outstanding shares in Nokia, and you can get that full detail. I'll tell you how many shares of Nokia are outstanding, and right now there's about almost 7 billion shares of Nokia available. So not all of it's going to be tradable, but that's how many that's their total amount of shares, which is used to determine the market cap. But yeah, Nokia is definitely something I wouldn't invest in. It feels like it's kind of stagnant. They topped off at 7.7 billion at last quarter, which is the last quarter of 2020, and then this first quarter they're down almost 1.5 billion, which is very interesting, none the least. But the company hasn't done anything crazy in the last couple of years, and you can see every holiday season Nokia is popping off as well, which is a very interesting trend that I'm starting to find. I don't know if anybody's buying any Nokia products though for the holidays. So yeah, no worries. We can also look at anything else. It doesn't have to be just Nokia. You can have me look at whatever other company you like. We can also chart it out. Let's see. We can also look at Nokia here. This is free charting, trading view, pretty solid. So let's see. Yo, what up, unimportant Jesus? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Yeah, you can see that this probably shouldn't have mattered for Nokia because this was sort of the GME meme stock pump. So you're probably gonna have to look at it all over. All right, SNDL. Sundial Growers. What's it at right now? It's at 71 cents. Dang. I had this what is it? I had this right here before it hit 50 cents. I had a couple hundred shares and I sold out right here 100%. I sold out like when it was like $1.50 and that was it. I kind of was like $1.50, I'll take that money and run. But yeah, let's look at SNDL revenue year over year to see kind of what they're doing. Let's see. Macro trends, it is. All right, so they made no money. Is that right? No way. They made 63 million in 2020 and their earnings was negative 271 million. That means they spent about $335 million in expenditures. So that could be either buying land, growing the crop, whatever, marketing. They spent 271 million more than what they made. So definitely, this is very, very alarming. Something that I would be on the lookout for. The company is at $1 billion and losing money like no other and barely making any money. So SNDL is definitely something I'd be a little bit skeptical holding long term. Let's see if we can chart it out real quick. So if you look from right here to here, SNDL is at a clear downtrend. Like, so this is it's like a downtrend slash mini wedge. You might want to see if it breaks above this for a pump, but I wouldn't buy anything until you see it pop up somewhere right here. But for a company that's making 63 million and spending 330 million, I don't know how much longer they can keep this up without burning through all their cash. So all right, so yeah, SNDL definitely something I'd be worried about holding long term. But if you do want to play a quick like day trade or scalp trade, you might want to wait for it to pop up above, let's say, somewhere in this line, like 79 cents, or you would have to see like a huge amount of volume. So its average volume is 213 million. If you see maybe 250, 300 million, you can think about entering. But right now, probably not something you would want to trade. All right, space stock that has not, or the space company that has not had any successful flights, or maybe they have, but they've always been. You need a $10,000 deposit. Okay, let's look at space. I don't think space revenue, right? Yeah, space is they're burning through cash as well. They spent 273 million this year. They're taking pre-orders on their flights. That's how they have a little, but space is operating at a net loss, which is pretty common for something in the space travel industry because you're still trying to figure out how to get people to Mars. But for me, space is something that earnings don't really matter. The company is never gonna surprise. I don't even know why they have estimates, because a company that hasn't really sent people into space or hasn't even launched any successful vacation flights, they don't have any actual customers. The only revenue they're getting right now is either investor money, or not investors' money. It's getting early deposits and pre-orders, and that's the only type of revenue they have. So I don't even think looking at these numbers matter. But on the bigger picture, space has been on a big downtrend as well. You can see, when all the hype stocks were popping off, space was jumping off the charts as well. It's kind of stuck in this descending pattern. You can see that, hey, maybe it's kind of going around here. And if you want to take this one, it's kind of just going in a descending channel, and it doesn't really look good. So yeah, space doesn't really look good in my perspective. Let's see if we can scroll out. It's kind of, there's a lot of support at the $15 range. You can see that it hits it multiple times. So this would be one area of pretty strong support, I would say. But other than that, it formed a double bottom right here. Kind of almost touches that line again, but yeah, space is something that's not on my trade list, and I'm not even watching it anymore. I had some right around here, or no, I had some. Let's see, when was this run? Oh, I had some pre-COVID, and then I sold like right here. I sold in like the 24, 25 range from like $17. It was a nice little trade, but I missed out on all this good stuff, and that's okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in today. We'll probably do this again when I get some time and I'm just chilling. But yeah, if you're thought the pump would be there if there's a successful flight. I don't remember if. Let me just let's just look at this real quick. Did they do a successful launch recently? Let's see. It did go to space. Yeah, it did early year, but I don't think they've had any word since. Yeah, it has not said it when it intends to fly again. So maybe that might have changed. Let's see. And I do think there is potential with SPCE or Virgin Galactic, but I think the bigger picture is for a lot of people is oh, they do have a test flight, is kind of when are they going to be profitable, or when are they going to generate revenue, and it's still in the testing stage, and I think it's going to be they actually get people buying in, and I think part of it is a lot of people paid deposits down, and we're all hyped up, but I think as time goes on, people were just kind of sick and tired of having to wait and having to kind of figure out what's going to happen. Oh, that's a pretty cool looking ship. Got some of that old school chrome silver metallic feel to it. It looks like a something you'd see in Star Wars. Um, yeah, Star Wars, the worst Star Wars movie ever, probably Episode One. This is something you'd see. Let's see. Yeah, I guess they are having a launch. So they're having another flight, but it doesn't really give much details, but they do want to do 400 flights per year in the future. So, that's where the potential lies, right? If they're able to do 400 flights, each flight maybe carries, let's see how big this is. All right, maybe they carries 12 to 15 passengers at a cost of a couple. Let's see how much it costs actually. Let's see. How much does this cost? Okay, well, it doesn't say. So oh, it's 250 grand. So 250 grand to go to the International Space Station. So if they were to do 400 flights per year at, quarter million, that's not bad actually. That'd be $100 million of revenue per person. So say they do 10 flights or 10 people per flight. So that's 2.5 million times 400. That's about $1 billion. So it could be a multi-billion-dollar industry. But right now they're already worth 4.5 billion, and they haven't really done anything. So that's kind of the sign that people are waiting for. Once they start flying people and seeing that large amount of cash come in or some sort of significant revenue come in, I think the stock is gonna do pretty well. But right now, I think it's gonna hover around this range for a little bit, um, until we see more developments. So, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys later.